There's an article out in the New Yorker magazine about this phenomenon of women quiet quitting their marriages. And what they mean by that is rather than going through all the trouble of getting divorced, even though they're unhappy, even though they don't even like their spouses anymore and aren't at all emotionally invested or connected in the relationship, they stick with it. They just quiet quit. They maybe wait until their kids go to college and then move into a separate bedroom. One woman in the article talked about going on vacation every single year without her husband. She doesn't like him. She doesn't want him to go on vacation with her. So she just does her own thing. But she's in her 40s and she doesn't want to file for divorce. Here's what they're not telling you in the article. Women have been quiet quitting their marriages for as long as marriage has existed because marriage sucks and men suck. And we tend to make really dumb mistakes in our 20s and end up with people who are no longer serving us in our 40s and 50s. Not all men. I know I have an incredible partner in my life, but he is a unicorn. He is few and far between, I'll tell you that right now. And you good guys out there, you're a rarity. I'm almost 52 years old. My great granddad was born in 1898. Isn't that wild? So I've seen a lot of marriages in my time. And I will tell you that when I was a child, and most of the adult women around me hated their husbands, but that was just the status quo. You're expected to hate your husband. My aunts, my neighbor ladies, a couple of my grandmas, all of the ladies at church, some of my friends' moms would complain about their husbands and how much they hated their lives, but that was just marriage. And then, of course, I grew up and I hated my marriage. And honestly, I quiet quit at the wedding, but I was Mormon, so we weren't allowed to get divorced. So I really didn't want to be there for 24 years, but God didn't want me to file for divorce. And here's something else that they're not telling you. The men aren't as unhappy in their relationships as the women are. All of those aunts and neighbors, ladies and friends, moms, etc., the husbands were happy. They came home every day to home cooked meals and beautiful clean homes, and they had access to sex, and they had a little servant doing everything for them. In fact, that was a major talking point in my marriage. My lousy, cheating ex-husband would tell me all the time, honey, you're the only one who's unhappy in our relationship. I am perfectly happy. What's wrong with you? Well, and here's what was wrong with me. I didn't have a wife. I had a husband, and it sucked. Here's actually the answer to this problem, and I know you guys are going to think this is my answer to everything, and it is. A man is not a plan. If me and any of these other women had had our own jobs and our own lives, and our home and our retirement and everything wasn't dependent on that man, then we can just walk away. Nobody would have to quiet quit anybody. I think it's time we stop engaging in transactionships and start having relationships. Second time's the charm, ladies.